Welcome back. Questioning President Trump's mental fitness for office is becoming a vicious, relentless obsession of the left. So I asked Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell about that in part 2 of our exclusive interview tonight. Two different cable networks today, MSNBC and CNN, at different points in the day, were raising serious questions. I mean, these are big league reporters about the mental state of President Trump, implying, or not just coming out, implying, saying that he looks like he has early onset dementia. He's unstable, he's destructive, he's imbalanced at a time where we could very well be facing a war with North Korea. You've had a lot of interactions with the president. Tell us about what you view his intellectual, mental capacity.
Those accusations are absolutely outrageous. I mean, I speak to the president on a virtually daily basis, and I'm involved with him all the time on all these issues. And that kind of accusation is totally baseless and outrageous.
I mean, it's so personal, and as someone who, I mean, my father had dementia, and it's personal to me. And yet these charges are being thrown around, a lot of people believe, as a precursor to perhaps a Democrat takeover in 2018, and then ultimately a push to try to remove him from office. That feeling is in this building. The Democrats want to invalidate this election one way or another.
Look, I think those kind of accusations are completely off base and irresponsible. Let's argue over the issues. We have different points of view. For example, the decision to get on the tax bill was totally partisan. Every Democrat said, I don't want to do tax reform. Every Republican said, I do. That's the appropriate area for us to have our discussions in public about the future of the country.
Moving on to the government funding, government shutdown. Chuck Schumer has actually said as much that he'd be willing to move to have the government shut down. He wouldn't blame himself, but have the government shut down over amnesty for DACA, the Dreamers. And yet in 2013, he said this.
Don't hold the American people hostage simply because you're so sure you are right and everyone else is wrong.
Would this be political suicide for the Democrats to shut the government down over amnesty for illegal immigrants?
I think that'd be a pretty dumb place for them to end up, and I don't think in the end they will end up there.
The president has said he's open to a DACA deal. Tom Cotton, Senator Perdue have this idea of the RAISE Act, which would have a whole bunch of things in it, including ending chain migration, which is like a 70-30 issue. It's really not a political issue. You know, every Mexican who comes into the United States on average brings 6 family members. For every 2 green card holders or legal immigrants, they bring in 7. So most Americans are saying that's too much. Would you tonight commit to making that part of any future DACA amnesty?
Yeah, I agree with Cotton and Perdue. The president has given us till March to deal with the issue of DACA. And the question is whether you're just going to do that and nothing else. I'm in favor of doing something on the DACA front. These kids came here through no act of their own. I think they have a legitimate case to be made. But I don't think we ought to just do that. A chain migration, doing something about the diversity lottery. There are plenty of changes to the legal immigration system that should be added to any kind of a DACA fix that we do.
Do you think the election was a mandate on passing immigration policies that are geared more toward the American worker? Would you agree with that?
Well, I think clearly immigration, the president made that a front and center issue. I mean, the wall, which we're still trying to achieve for him, was only part of it. And I think there is a great interest in changing the legal immigration system. By the way, I'm sure you share my view that legal immigration is important. My wife, the Secretary of Transportation, came here at age 8, not speaking a word of English, and legal immigration has been an important part of America for over 200 years.
And assimilation.
Yeah, our entire existence. That doesn't mean you just let anybody in at any point, and it doesn't mean you tolerate illegal entries. So the president's actually given us an opportunity here by saying he wants to fix DACA, but he doesn't want it all by itself. He wants something with it, and I think the kinds of things you and I are discussing, that Cotton and Perdue are pushing, or exactly what ought to be part of a solution.
The tweets today from President Trump, one about the sexual harassment case at NBC, another he retweeted Muslim videos where there was violence in them, and apparently the source was someone a lot of people in Britain think is kind of an unsavory figure. Do these tweets make it more difficult for you to get stuff done here in Congress?
Yeah, I'm not going to critique the president's tweeting habits. There's been much discussion about that all year. It's his decision.
But Schumer and Pelosi didn't show up at the meeting, of course, yesterday. You had 2 empty chairs, which I actually kind of like the empty chairs, Senator. I think that was actually clarifying.
It certainly keeps things lively.
I'd be remiss in asking one other question. I'm sorry. North Korea. This is getting extremely tense, if it wasn't tense before. Would you urge the Senate and to be able to vote on a use of force, military force, if we're indeed getting involved in the Korean Peninsula again?
Well, if it gets to that, I think the president's doing actually a great job. He's the first president who's been able to get the attention of the Chinese, who are actually squeezing the North Koreans as we speak.
Are you hopeful we can avert war in the Korean Peninsula?
I am.
Senator, thank you for all this time.
Thank you.
It's terrific. Come back soon. And up next, another Senate bigwig. I'll ask Marco Rubio about where he stands on DACA amnesty, and also why the Wall Street Journal today says he and Schumer could be working to kill the president's tax plan. He responds up next. And I have a message for those in the media who continue to pile on Melania Trump. You're not going to want to miss it, so stay tuned.